brand deals. Yes, we're going to talk about brand deals real quick. As a content creator, one of the most talked about things I ever hear about is brand deals. And what got me to this thought today is I just got a bunch of stuff in for one of my favorite brands, which is Telsin. They sent me some stuff out, but we'll talk about that in a second. Thank you, Telsin, for sending this over. Not a sponsored video. Definitely not about that. It's about brand deals. Let's talk about this. Now, I believe there's a little bit of confusion, especially when it comes to new creators, about what a brand deal is. And I think part of that problem is people always want to know, which I get. As a content creator, I'm going to start this business. How am I going to make money? One of the first questions is, how do I get brand deals? And I'm like, pump your brakes. First thing you should understand is there's a huge difference between brand deals and what might be considered a product send or a gift for your recommendation or your advice or like just your initial impressions. Okay, so let me explain the difference real quick. These products that I have right here are not sponsored by Telsin. However, they did send them to me for my advice, sort of my impressions, my recommendations. So if I like these, of course, I'm going to recommend it to you guys. And I'll explain that further in just a second. Now, a brand deal sort of means that the company not only sends you the product out, but there is a conversation about how much you're going to get paid to create that video. So that can range anywhere between a couple of $100 to a couple of $1,000 to 10, 15, 20,000. It really depends on your clout and what you bring to the table for the company. Okay. There's a huge also sort of misunderstanding that people think that just because there is a brand deal, that the creator is forced to say what the brand or the manufacturer wants them to say. And that's not always the case. Some cases, there is an arrangement that you cover these 5 or 6 bullet points, but it's not really about you cannot say how you feel about the product. There's a difference. Of course, when I worked at Toyota way back in the day, when someone came in and they wanted to buy a Celica, they gave us things that they wanted us to talk about. They wanted to talk about the horsepower. They wanted to talk about the power to weight ratio. They wanted to talk about, at that time, the industry leading warranty. They wanted to talk about its championships in the SSCA, which is a sports car kind of thing, because that gave it the provenance and the pedigree. They wanted us to talk about the Corinthian leather, if you were getting the leather package, the twin turbo, the power to weight distribution. There was a lot of bullet points that they wanted us to talk about in every sale, because that was going to anchor that love for that particular vehicle. And everybody does that. Even though we don't have, say, set standard points, whenever I work for a software company, whenever someone talks about our software, there's 5 or 6 features that they almost automatically recommend. And we don't necessarily have to tell people to say that. They just say it because it's kind of the key elements to the software. This misnomer that, creators just say these things because they're quote unquote shilling, which is a word I absolutely hate. The company you work for, no matter how you get paid, there are some key points that you bring up. Even if you're in a government job, you know that your facilities as, let's say, a law enforcement officer is to serve and protect. Hello, that's the features. That's the feature set for your job. So would a product send, what I have today here, or in my case, this was a direct ask, and I'll explain how this works in just 1 second. Please hang tight. I am going on a trip to Japan, and I'm going to be taking a minimalist setup. I'm basically taking my DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro. I'm taking the new DJI Nano, and I am taking this iPhone 17 Pro Max. So I reached out to my contact at Telsin, especially off the heels of this product, which I did a review on, and of course, I'll place it up there so you can see it. I said, hey, I'm going to Japan and I'm trying to take a minimalist, amount of equipment. So I thought it'd be real interesting if you have any accessories that you think might make this work even better, because they specialize in making accessories for content creators like you. Not very expensive, but they're also very epic. And my contact was like, we got some new stuff that you're going to absolutely love. Because of the Master Grip, which is this, again, not sponsored in this video. This is just me telling you how this works. She sent me out 3 new filters that they have for their Master Grip. Okay, so that is a circular Pro Mist filter, a variable ND, and a quarter stop black Pro Mist, things that I absolutely love. So that's going to make my iPhone content shooting better. She also sent me out a neck mount, which again will be in a whole different video when we get to that. And then because of the Osmo Action 5 Pro, she sent me out a hand grip for the Action so I could use it kind of like a camera, which is great. I'm going to probably take my Leica, but that's a different story. So in this process, she had, here's some items that we think that more people need to know about. Here's a creator that is going to create with a minimum amount of equipment and show how that you can make some, decent content on new equipment. And they get to be one of the first brands that will be sponsored, not only on this channel, but on my brand new channel, which is going to be basically about travel and traveling as a professional, right? Traveling as a creator. They also did send me a fiberglass selfie stick because this is going to come in way handier than the healthy one, not really heavy, but the one that DJI sent. And so I had a very specific use case and a very specific ask. And when I reached out to my contact there, I said, this is what I'm planning to do. And they were like, yo, we'd love to support this idea. Let me send you some stuff. I didn't pick the products. I didn't ask for anything specific. I just said what I was taking. And they thought, here's some things that I think might work. This is a normal conversation between people like me who do this and the brands. I think if you're a brand new creator and you're wondering how you can get there, you wanted to reach out to a brand, the ask goes as follows. I have a very interesting concept. It should be different. It should be unique. That's the same thing. It should be something that not a lot of people are talking about, and you're going to highlight it in a way that maybe nobody else has, or you're going to expand their visual to their eyes to a market that maybe nobody's talked about, right? So if I was going to take this action cam and bring it into the floor of a stock market, which may be illegal, but just go with the expression for now, and I was going to wear it on my neck while I go do a fish auction. That's a better one. If I'm going to wear this on my neck and go to Tsukiji Market, get there at 4 a.m. and do a fish auction, I can show how somebody in that level of business might be able to work something like this into their everyday business instead of just thinking about it as, skateboarders and street photographers, right? So you're going to bring a whole new market to their eyes. For anybody can get a brand deal. I had a buddy quickly back in the day when GoPro was, on GoPro version 3, and he was going to try to do some cool stuff with, stereoscopic GoPros 2 on the chest and do some 3D stuff. And he was coming from the Midwest to Hawaii. At that time, not a lot of Hawaii people were talking about GoPros in that level. And he had 12 subscribers on his channel, but they sent him a box of GoPros and all the accessories because the content that he was going to create sort of matched what they were trying to do as a marketing people. So you do not have to have a large following. You need to have a decent story, a decent use case. The same thing that it takes to get people to follow you is sort of what it takes to get a brand to send you something. Now, again, the key things I want to highlight, a brand deal is like a brand is going to sponsor you to make 20 videos and they're going to pay you X amount of money and you're going to be like a live insertion into the middle of the videos. Like this video is sponsored to you by the website company that's the shape of a square. Or this video has been sponsored to you by, say, some company that will give you a virtual private network when you travel. Like those are brand deals, right? When a company is introducing a brand new product and they want you to talk about that brand new product, like when my favorite Osbach company sent me this guy out, it wasn't a paid promotion. It was nothing other than your audience will fit really good with this product. I actually met them at NAB. And then from the conversations, I was like, you guys will fit perfectly with our community. And they were like, yeah. And we've been besties ever since. Like I've been working with them for probably going on 4 years at this point. And again, because my audience fit their product. Same with Rode, my audience fit their product. It wasn't about a brand deal. Rode has never paid me a red cent to make a single video. I personally choose, under normal circumstances, not to get paid by the brands. I only have one brand that I will do paid promotions with because I know them so well that I know I'm never going to get done wrong by their equipment, and that's sure. Other than that, most of the stuff I work with, I don't even normally ask. I just do. You send me it. If I like it, I'll make the video. I normally don't like to make bad videos. I don't like to make negative videos, but I will give them a full report as to the things I thought that didn't make this a product worth me talking about at this particular moment. In many cases, it can be updated by firmware, and then it's all bets are off, and we're good. A lot of creators will take something that doesn't work, and they will blow it out of proportion, and they'll turn it into a sad thing and act like the company is trying to get you, and that's never really the case. The company wants you to have good things as well. So 9 times out of 10, you could just ask them, and they're like, yes, we can fix that, or no, we can't fix that. That's going to have to wait to the next version. All of the above are possibilities, But, making negative content just gets a lot of clicks. And I just refuse to do that because I'm not that kind of creator. I like happiness. I like positivity. I like a dope single malt whiskey. So, long story short, first of all, thank you to Telcent for trusting in me. That's a key. Trusting in me and my value my opinion to send me these things out so that I can go and test these on my trip to Japan. Really drives me nuts. And the fastest way to piss myself or any other creators off is like, oh, you're so lucky that the brand sent you that. Bro, this is like years and years worth of work in order to be at a level where the brands will trust my opinions on something like that. There's no luck involved. And you as a new creator, there won't be any luck involved when you get it either. You will have deserved every single action that somebody puts in your hands and trust you with their brand. A brand is so important that if they trust you to deliver their brand information for them, that means you are in a good position. Now, I don't know who needed to hear this. Of course, if you have more questions about brand deals and how to get them or whatever, or if you just want to be on the list where companies will start sending you things, let me know. Well, I'll come up with something I can explain to you. I'm not going to sell you some weird course or teach you anything crazy. I'm just going to let you know how it works in reality because there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of people selling the concept of getting brand deals and they can't maybe really show you that. Only a handful of people I know of that I would trust to pay them to teach me how to get brand deals. I can name them on about two hands. Anyway, if you have any questions at all, drop them down in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, press the subscribe button, ring the notification bell. Remember, you don't need to have 1 million subscribers to get brand deals. You just need to have something good. And right about now, the algorithm is going to show you another video I think you should watch, and I agree with them.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk.